بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to day 18 of Qur'an Recitation Mastery. So in this video, I'll be talking about al-ikhfa. So I've already talked about al-idhar, al-idgham, al-iqlab, and then now I'll be talking about al-ikhfa. So that means this is the last video on Nuun Saakinah, though I'm thinking of uploading another video and revise all the stuffs and then practice. I don't know yet, but I think I'll do that. So al-iqlab deals with a letter which is ba. So I've already said that in the previous video. So when you see Nuun Saakinah or Tanween before ba, you apply gunna and then you turn the N sound to M sound, and note that the M here is not for the normal meme, which is, the meme in the letter, like in Arabic alphabet, like when you have the normal meme sukun. So the pronunciation of this one will be like a partial meme, a small meme. So it won't be the same with when you have a normal meme as a letter and not meme as a sound here. So you apply M sound before instead of N sound. So, and I already said that when you have Nuun Saakinah before ba, there will be a small meme on top of the Nuun. Same thing applies to Tanween, Fathatan, Kasratan, or Dhammatan. So instead of having the double vowels, like the double Fatha, double Kasra, or double vowel, or double Dhamma, sorry. So you have a Fatha and the small meme. So the small meme will be representing the N sound, which is why we are turning the N sound that's supposed to be there to M sound. Let me repeat. You are turning the N sound to M sound because you have a single fatha and a small meme instead of a double fatha. And you know that when you have double fatha, double kasra, or double dhamma, the second one, which makes it double, the one on the top, we have, when you have double fatha, one will be at the bottom and one will be at the top. When you write it on top of each other, right? So same thing applies to Kesratan and Dhammatan. So the second one that's supposed to be on the top, instead of having that, you have M, like you have meme, a small meme. So that's why you are not applying N sound, because that second one represents N sound. And here, since you're not having the second one and you're having meme in place of it, so you are turning the N sound to M sound. And in this case, you must apply gunna. So I think that's that about that. So example of that is when you have min, that means you have Nuun Saakinah, and then before ba'di. So you pronounce it as min ba'di, not mim ba'di. The only difference between mim ba'di and min ba'di and mim ba'di is that in min ba'di, I pronounced M sound, but then there was a narrow opening which led to the pronunciation of gunna. I don't know whether to call it pronunciation of gunna, but anyway, which led to the pronunciation of gunna. So it's different from when I say mim ba'di. My lips are totally closed. So there is no way I would pronounce gunna correctly, and then there is no way I will pronounce that small meme correctly, because in that case I'm pronouncing the real meme, which is the normal meme. So mim ba'di is different from min ba'di. Min ba'di, min ba'di. So the correct one is min ba'di, not mim. Take note of your lips when you're pronouncing it. Your lips must not close completely. So that's it. 5 minutes. Wow. So the explanation of ikhfa. When Nuun Saakinah or Tanween precedes any letter of ikhfa, there will be application of gunnah. This is just like the opposite of izhar. So when I was explaining izhar, I said there will be the clear pronunciation, and then there will be no gunnah since you pronounce it clearly, of course. So, but when it comes to ikhfa, there will be gunnah. And the fact that there is gunnah means you won't pronounce it clearly. I hope you get it. So in idhar, you pronounced clearly, so there is no gunnah. In this one, which is ikhfa, there is gunnah, which means there is no clear pronunciation. I hope you get that. So letters of ikhfa, we have صف ذا ثنا كم جاد شخص قد سمع دم طيبا زد في تقاطع ظالما. So I did not pronounce the ones at the top because it's kind of stressful. So I just wrote down the letters for you at the top, like sod, tha, kaf, jim, shin, and whatever. So sorry. So the first letter in each word represents a letter of ikhfa. Sif, sod. And then tha, we have thal. Thana, we have tha. Kam, we have kaf. And so on. So, examples. Hey, and then I said the letters of ikhfa are 15, right? The letters are 15. Okay. So how is it possible for you to memorize all these 15 letters and then you just be like, okay, when you see them, you'll be able to, know that this is a ikhfa letter. One thing is, don't memorize. You might memorize so that ثنا كم جاد شخص قد سمع because maybe there'll be exam later after this videos and after the lessons and the likes. There'll be exam, inshallah. So memorize because there may be the written form or when someone asks you, right? But then when it comes to application, when you're reciting the Qur'an, it's very, very stressful for you to now start counting like so that and I can judge which one is it ikhfa letter or not. So one thing I want you to know is that ikhfa letter is the total Arabic letters minus all other ones we've talked about. Those ones are easy to memorize, right? We have idhar, we have akhiha ka'ilman hazal ghayr khasin in the first letters there, and idgham we have yarmalun, and then idgham we have ba. So the other letters, apart from those letters, are what ikhfa letters. So once you master all other ones, you'll be able to know that, okay, this letter is not part of the ones I crammed or so you should know that it is ikhfa letter. So when you see Nuun Saakinah before qaf, you should be able to know that qaf is not one of idhar letter, not one of idgham letter, and not one of iqlab letter. So you should know that it is ikhfa letter. So that's it. So example, we have man that, and then you should notice that when I pronounced man that, there is gunnah. I did not say that man that, but man that, which means I did not pronounce the N sound clearly. So I applied gunnah instead. So we have, these ones are very simple, but when we come to the special letters, there is a slight change, and then I think that should be simple too. So we have min ju', and take note of the application of gunnah. You must apply the gunnah very well. Like your gunnah must be at least 2 harakat. And when I mean 2 harakat, when you count your finger, you should be able to count 2 fingers before you stop pronouncing the gunnah. So you must not pronounce the gunna too much, like minju. That's wrong. So minjur. It's okay like that. So we have min sharri, min sijil, min sijil, min. So that's it. So وَمَن تَطَوَّعَ. You should notice that when I was explaining إظهار, I wrote this same N. Like, it's the same thing when you have وَمَن تَطَوَّعَ. The transliteration will be the same thing. But you, as a Tajweed student, should know that you're having time immediately after Nuun Saakinah. So there should be Gunna, not a clear pronunciation. I could get that. So وَمَن تَطَوَّعَ عند الله, عند الله, not عند الله, but عند الله. ولن ترضى, sorry, not عند الله, but عند الله. So ولن ترضى تنفعها قليلا ثم وَمِن ذُرِّيَّتِنَا. This one's as simple, like very, very simple. Because the only thing you need to do is just to apply guna instead of pronouncing the end sound, clearly. So make sure you get that before you move on to the special letters. So make sure you pronounce and get that very well before you move on to this one. So we have 5 special letters. I call them special letters so as to, differentiate them from other letters. So that means that 10 letters applies. You apply the gunna rule to other 10 letters. So these 5 letters among the 15 letters, you have to apply NW instead of N sound. And you know that ikhfa now it deals with gunna, so you must apply gunna. So instead of saying so if you have one of the special letters qaf, sod, bad, ta, and dha, it will be So when you say your lips, there is a flat shape, your lips produce a flat shape, or how should I say it? But when you say there is a round shape. So I hope you get that. So let's move on. So an example is طهيرة, not طهيرة. Ta is one of the special letters, so it is طهيرة. So ينصرون, not ينصرون. That's very wrong. So you need to apply the W to it. طهيرة. تنظرون أمة قد not أمة قد, or not أمة قد, but أمة, not the W. The W will make your lips turn, to a circle. A form of a circle. I don't know, maybe it's a circle, but just a circle, like a round shape. So the W, when you don't have the round shape, you should know that you're pronouncing the wrong thing. Okay, it's different from when you just pronounce the N with gunna and not with gunna. So in that case, you have just a flat shape, like is different from I hope you get that. So the application of that W makes it round. So man and note that I did not say that man but man that should be gunna, not dalla, not man dalla, not man dalla, not sorry, not tahira, but tahira. The fact that there is some seconds before I pronounced to. That means I prolonged the pronunciation of that to. Means I was applying gunna to the N and W. So to the N, sorry. Tahira. It's different from when I have tahira. That in that case I did not I did not prolong the pronunciation. I'm talking too fast. So ينصرون تنظرون أمة قد خلت من ضل انقضى عن صلاتهم. And note that this ones I'm writing in capital letters. For example, the saw is to show that we have dod and sword, not dal and sin, So take note of that. So fan sobe, not fan sobe, and not fan sobe. When you are learning, you need to be curious. Like, you need to be curious about every single thing. I think this one is in a surah in the last juz of the Quran. Yeah, so you should be curious about every single thing. When you're reciting Surah Al-Sharh, which is in Alam Nashrah Laka Sadrak. So this particular word, Fansabe, is in, I think, the second to the last verse in that surah. So you're just reciting it. You don't know why is it found and not fan and not fang. So when you don't know something, you are ignorant. But when you don't know and you're curious about knowing, that means you want to learn. So whenever you see something strange, you should be able to think, how is this then this and not this? So that's curiosity, and it improves learning. So فانصب من قبل. So that's it. And I wrote قبل, QOBEL. I did not write BL because there is qalqala there, not min qabl, but min qabl. We'll talk about that in the later video, inshallah. So, exercise, find 35 examples of ikhfa. We have 15 letters, so that means I wanted to write 45 actually. So that means 3 letters, 3 examples each. So we have 45 in total, not 35, please. So then you should pronounce it in front of a teacher, because you won't know if you're pronouncing the wrong thing. Or maybe if you are not opportuned to, have a teacher, you should record your pronunciation and then maybe send it to someone to check it for you, someone with a good tajweed. So, or you listen to this video, and as you're listening to it, you go back to your recording and then